Hello and welcome back to another Nostale video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make money if you're level 45 to 55, or if you can find a level 45 to 55 to open PTS for you. And PTS stands for Party Time Space. And basically you get these stones, group time space stones, and you can use them to create a time space which you need 3 people to come with you to do the time space. You need a level 45 to 55 for this specific time space I'm going to be showing, which is I think the most common one. And that level 45 to 55 will need to open the time space. And you need an attacker, which is going to be this account, my main account, which basically does all the damage and kills all the enemies. And the other people in this time space basically sit back and do nothing. Usually the way it works is the materials you need are 1 group time space stone, you need 3 half moons, and I think 24 seeds of power. And basically the way it works usually is each of the people, again you need 3 people, you need the person to open, an attacker, and someone else who pretty much doesn't do anything. You need all of those materials, which means usually you have one of the people provide the group time space stones. You have the other person provide the seeds of power, and the third person provides the half moons. And basically that works because they're pretty, all 3 of those things are kind of evenly priced. Not exactly, but pretty close. And also, they basically, it helps you split the loot and the cost. So each of you, no one has to pay like 100,000 gold just to get the time space started. The idea is that each of you would pay like 30,000 apiece, roughly, maybe not as much, to open the time space, and then you get more loot as you go out of it, or as you win. So as an individual, I might pay 30,000 to start to provide my piece of the of what we need. For example, the group time space stones, say if I buy them for 30,000 apiece, and I get 40,000 gold as a reward from completing the time space, and I get 30 Gillian stones, which is about another 60,000 or maybe more. So then I just made a bunch of money from my small amount of initial investment. Alright, now that we're here, basically you could see I walked you through how you can get to Fernon Hideout 5, which is the place where you can start this PTS. And basically I'm going to clear out a few monsters here, and then you go on to the level 45 account. Alright, so on the level 45 account, what you need to do is you need to have dowsing rods, and basically you just use them until you get an arrow, and then you follow the arrow. Now if you don't get an arrow right away, what you can do is you can leave the party and then rejoin, and then keep doing that until you get an arrow right away, which just helps you find it a little bit faster. Alright, from this point we're going to open up the time space, and as you can see, level 45 to 55, it tells you where the entrance is, and can only be entered with 3 party members. Alright, as the opener, once everyone is here, basically I just click start. And then what I'm going to do, I don't think this is against the rules, I think it's the way it's meant to be. I'm not completely sure though, it's just the way it's always been and it's never changed. But you can click inside that circle and then you can click away at the last second. and it will ask you if you want to enter the first room, and it doesn't send you to the first room. You just click confirm, and that basically starts the time space. Alright, once it's started, basically I'm going to use my buffs on my main account, on the attacker account, and now I'm going to go in here. As you can see, it's a bunch of monsters, and this is why you need an attacker who is a higher level. Well, you don't need one, but it's why you should have one. It just makes it much easier to kill all of the monsters. And at this point, basically monsters spawn every 30 seconds or so. So you don't get much time to sit around and do nothing. Now, if you're level 45 to 55 and you have a couple friends that are the same level, and you guys are playing together and you might want to do this time space together, you might be able to if you all three go in here and try to fight together. This way that I'm showing you with one attacker, one opener, and one other random person is usually just the way that it normally goes, just because it's a little easier with someone who's higher leveled and able to kill all the monsters pretty easily. And if you're by yourself and you maybe are level 45 to 55, what you can do is you can use a speaker, and that will allow you to talk to all of the people in the same channel as you, and then you can just say looking for attacker and third person for PTS, 45 to 55 PTS. And usually someone will say, like, what materials will you provide or whatever, and you can tell them I'll provide the stones, and someone else needs to provide seeds of power, and someone else needs to provide the half moons. And generally you could probably find people that way pretty easily. I know I would probably do it just because it's kind of quick and easy to make a little bit of money, and you get reputation from it, which is great, which you can also use to make money if you want to. And I like helping out lower level players, so it's nice just to help someone out. But yeah, that's the basics of it, and I think I'm going to show the whole 11 or 12 minutes or whatever that it takes for me to just kill all these monsters, and then you can see when they stop spawning. I think it's about a minute 30 they spawn the last wave. And yeah, if you're lower level and you're trying to do this, I would suggest tarot cards, probably the Lovers tarot cards, and make sure you guys have your specialist cards. Probably everyone should use them. What else? Maybe not the mage. Maybe the mage could use healing or something from a normal class, like without a specialist card. Alright, and if you're higher level, this can be pretty difficult even if you're like level 70, just because there's so many monsters that spawn. Your pets might be dying and stuff. You could get something like stakes maybe to sit down and heal yourself, or you could just buy, I would say definitely go with the tarot card if you're struggling. You could try the Hermit, which basically increases a bunch of defenses. If your pets are dying, what you could do is you could just let them die, just send them home and keep them there. Well, it'd be nice to have them at first when you first start, and then after they die, just let them stay at your warehouse or your mini land. And that way they can help you some, but even if they die, then it doesn't cost you anything. What else? Definitely fire and dark resistance if you have it. As you can see, I have a combination of the both, so it's pretty easy for me. I think everything in here is either fire or dark, except for maybe I think some foxes spawn, which are light element. Also, you could look at using, sometimes you get like random healing items from the Nostale daily boxes. And if you have some of those, you could maybe consider using those, just because you can't sell them and you might not normally have them on your hotbar, because if you're like me, you have a bunch of stuff on your hotbar, which means you don't want to pack a bunch more stuff on there and then you'll forget which keys are what. So you could temporarily switch something out on your hotbar. Like I have 2 of these spring waters. I could maybe just, if I was struggling, I could probably just use those and use the strong cider, which I can't trade, just to get rid of a couple random healing items, and you're not really wasting your potions that you use all the time. You could also do things like attack potions and defense potions if you really need them. But again, all of this stuff that you use is going to kind of cut into your total profits. So you definitely want to be careful and not spend too much money, or you're not going to be making any money. Alright, so let's do this. Alright. And we're about halfway, or over halfway at this point. Now, you could use different specialist cards. Obviously, the light element is probably the best, which is, well, specifically Wild Keeper is probably the best, or one of the best, just because of all of its AoEs and skills that can kill things really easily. Which is really what you're looking for, is AoE skills that you can kill everything at once, because it's not really that there are a bunch of strong monsters, it's just there are a lot of there are many monsters that are not as strong, and you just have to kill a bunch of them at once. Alright. And let's get that. So yeah, this is basically it. I mean, you sit here and kill them over and over. It kind of sucks for the other 2 people that sit in the other room. It's kind of nice because they don't have to do anything. But at the same time, if they're real people that are just sitting there not able to do anything, it can get boring after a while. So it's nice to take a little break and do something else for a while and then come back. Or you could, what some people do is they'll just buy like 10 group time space stones, or 20 or more, and they'll just do them all in a row one right after another. And that way they're not wasting any time. And it can be kind of nice, because if you're just someone who is sitting in the other room, you can just sit back and watch Netflix or something while they're doing the time space, and you only need to act every 12 minutes or so after it's finished. One slight downside to this is you can only do it so many times if you're level 45. If you keep going, you're going to be leveling up. I mean, not really fast, but it's still going to level you up, and eventually you will level up so many times that you won't be able to do this anymore. So yeah, that can be something to think about if you don't want to level up really fast right away, which if you're new to the game you probably do. But if you're kind of trying to take your time and make as much money as possible, not the greatest thing ever, because you're getting quite a bit of experience from this. But I think that's probably going to be the same for any of these money-making methods that require certain levels. So it's not really that big of an issue. Alright, I think one more wave after this and we will be done. And as you can see, for me, it was no problem at all. Just a little bit of healing from my partner, which I don't even think I needed. And just keeping up with the buffs and using my AoE skills. It was absolutely no problem at all. Like I said, level 70 or so. I used to do this when I was a little bit lower level, and I struggled some, and what I would do is just send my pets to the warehouse or to my mini-land after they died, and that would help save from pet dolls and everything, and that way I would make my money back. Alright, so that's it. And now we just have to wait for the 1 minute timer to count down. At this point, sometimes the other people might come into this room. You could tell them you're done, and you could sit here and talk for a little bit. But yeah, that's, I guess, all I really had for this money-making method. I'll show you what you can get from the reward. I believe it's 30 Gillian stones, 40,000 gold, 1.3 thousand reputation, and you get a choice between high quality materials. You could either get leather, rags, metal, or wood, I believe. So yeah, and those all, I think they sell for a reasonable amount, like maybe 200 to 500 a piece in the Nos Bazaar. And the reason I think for that is because they're used to make level 45 resistance. So yeah, I wouldn't throw anything away except for maybe, I think you get Donna River Sand, which I think sells for 4 or 5 gold a piece in the Nos Bazaar, which still adds up over time if you can sell it. So yeah, I got high quality wood here. Last time I got high quality leather, 30 Gillian stones, which I think sell for over 2,000 a piece. Soul gems, which if you can't sell them in the Nos Bazaar, you can sell them to an NPC for 250 gold a piece. So just keep that in mind. Donna River Sand, kind of useless. As you can see in the bottom left, I got about 40,000 gold, and there was a penalty because of my level, and 1.3 thousand reputation. So yeah, that's basically all I have for this money making guide. It's great for reputation and leveling up and money. And yeah, overall it's a pretty good method if you can find the people to do it with you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.